The day Julian had his 6th affair, he gave me a $40 million yacht with my name engraved on it. All our friends were gushing. Julian is so good to his wife. Only I was staring at the name on the stern. Under the fresh paint, hastily covered, was the name of his canary. A single, gilded letter. Y still visible from her name. Ruby. His friend slung an arm around his shoulder and laughed. 2 names on one boat. If Maya finds out, isn't she going to explode? Julian sneered. She'll pretend she's deaf even if she knows. What Julian didn't know was that I had already left the party. I was currently lying in his twin brother's bed. So, how do you think we should tell your brother that I'm pregnant with his nephew? The man who is always the calm, composed head of the Thorne family. His eyes now a swirling storm. His voice hoarse. That's a question I should be asking you. When are you planning on ditching that piece of junk and making a family with me and our child? Julian bought me a yacht and threw a party to celebrate. When I arrived, I saw him locked in a passionate kiss with a young starlet. At the sight, I turned and went out onto the deck, the sea breeze on my face. Are you Mrs. Thorne? I turned to see the starlet who had just been kissing Julian. Her face, fresh out of college, was still a bit immature. The heavy makeup, instead of enhancing her beauty, made her look a bit cheap. Seeing me staring, Ruby ran a hand through her hair, a triumphant look in her eyes. I'm Mr. Thorne's girlfriend. You've probably seen me on TV. I was in the recent hit show, Secret Love. Mr. Thorne got me that role. You know, my marriage to Julian was the talk of our social circle. And now, his mistress was confronting me. Everyone around us was straining their ears, eager for the gossip. I gave a half smile. You're signed to Star Entertainment for 5 years. I'm the largest shareholder of Star Entertainment. If I decide to shelve you, you won't get a single role for the next 5 years. Ruby lifted her chin, her voice confident. Mr. Thorne won't let you bully me. Seeing her naivety, I found it amusing. You can try and see if he can stop me. Ruby's face instantly paled. She had been with Julian since she first entered the entertainment industry. Her first role had been a lead, and she had become an overnight sensation. She had never experienced the harsh realities of the world. Unconvinced, Ruby pointed to the stern of the yacht. Do you see that? Why? That's for my name. Ruby. My face was impassive. It's just one of his tricks to appease you. Ruby retorted loudly. No, it's not. He only changed my name to yours so you wouldn't make a scene. I sneered. I don't need a stupid name. But transferring the yacht to my name, that was a nice touch. I had no time to waste on her. I turned and went back inside, heading for the 2nd floor. The door was ajar. I peeked through the crack. Julian was leaning back on the sofa, a cigarette between his fingers. His best friend, Alex, was teasing him. 2 names on one boat. If Maya finds out, isn't she going to explode? Julian's voice was indifferent. She'll pretend she's deaf even if she knows. The room erupted in laughter. True. You've been cheating on her for 3 years. She only made a scene at the beginning. She's accepted that you have your little birds on the side now. Even so, you have to give her some face. You brought both your wife and your mistress to the party tonight. What if they run into each other? How is she supposed to show her face? In the dim light, Julian said nonchalantly, if Maya sees Ruby, she'll walk the other way. She won't dare to make a scene. Alex glanced at him, a playful look in his eyes. The last time you were with that recent graduate, and Maya caught you, she made a huge scene. Even brought it to both your families. Her father-in-law gave her a good scolding. You think she's going to stick her neck out again? I stood outside the door, my nails digging into my palms, my heart clenching in a painful spasm. Once upon a time, Julian and I had been young and in love. A story that went from school uniforms to a wedding dress. The night we got our marriage license, he had gotten drunk and held my hand tightly. His eyes read, Maya, in this life, I, Julian Thorne, will only ever love you. If I ever do anything to wrong you, to make you shed a single tear, may I die a horrible death. Before he could finish, I had covered his mouth, my voice anxious. Don't say that. I believe you. But in the 3 years of our marriage, he had cheated on me 6 times. The first time, I had cried my eyes out and smashed everything in our apartment. The second time, I had cornered him and a model at a hotel and thrown a glass of red wine in his face. The 5th time, I had stormed into his office and had a huge fight, which was filmed and posted online, causing both our family's company stocks to plummet. Today was his 6th affair. I smiled faintly, took off my wedding ring, and dropped it into a passing waiter's champagne flute. I pushed the door open and walked in. The room fell silent. Seeing me, everyone stood up to greet me. Sis, in-law is here. Come, sit next to Julian. No, thank you. I found a single armchair next to him and sat down. The others in the room exchanged glances. Julian looked up at me and flicked the ash from his cigarette. I took a document from my bag and pushed it in front of him. Julian raised an eyebrow. He didn't open it, but he must have guessed what it was. He took the cigarette from his lips, stubbed it out, and sneered, still making a scene. Didn't I just give you a yacht as an apology? If that's not enough, there's a new development in the North District. Go pick one out. A cold, detached smile touched my lips. You were the one who cheated. In our divorce, I get 70% of our marital assets, and you get 30. That's a fair distribution. If we go to court, you'll lose even more. You can ask your lawyer. Julian's narrow eyes narrowed, his voice turning cold. Maya, if you feel I'm not spending enough time with you, you can get a boyfriend. Don't worry, I won't be angry. He was so sure that I would never cheat on him. Even his friends thought so. But this time, he was wrong. I couldn't help but smile. I already have one. That's why I need a divorce. The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The atmosphere was instantly charged. Julian's gaze was as cold as a frozen lake as he tried to discern the truth in my words. I met his dark gaze and said, one word at a time. Julian, sign the papers. Otherwise, I can't get married. Realizing I was serious, Julian kicked the table in front of him, his voice laced with a chilling cold. Maya, say that again. I dare you. Alex, after a moment of stunned silence, tried to intervene. Maya, calm down. Don't make jokes like that. Yeah, you and Julian have been through so much these past 3 years. Talking about divorce is just going to hurt your relationship. Julian calmed down, his eyes unreadable. Did Ruby go to see you? Did she tell you the yacht was originally named after her? Is that why you want a divorce? He rubbed his temples and laughed, exasperated. Since when do you care about such trivial things? My phone rang. It was Daniel, Julian's twin brother. I smiled as I answered. I'm almost done here. I'll come see you when we dock. Julian stared at the smile on my face, finding it incredibly jarring. After hanging up, I looked at him and said, I'll have my assistant pick up the signed divorce papers tomorrow morning. Let's make this a clean break. Don't make it ugly for both of us. The anger Julian had just suppressed flared up again. He grabbed a nearby ashtray and threw it on the floor. Maya, are you ever going to stop? I was not one to back down either. I grabbed a wine bottle and threw it at him. Julian dodged, his expression dark. Just then, the yacht docked. I got off and got into a black Maybach. In the dim light, the people on the yacht couldn't see Daniel's face clearly. Is that the pretty boy who seduced our sis? In-law. He looks a little familiar. I remember your brother has a car like that. Right. It's too dark to see the license plate. What are you talking about? There's no way Maya would be with Julian's own brother. Besides, everyone knows Daniel isn't interested in women. Julian's eyes narrowed. Hearing the name, he looked over sharply. Daniel. Alex clapped him on the shoulder. Not only does the car look like his, but his back looks just like your brother's. And there are only 3 Maybachs of that model in the entire capital. Julian stared at the direction the car had gone, his eyes dark and deep. He lit a cigarette and blew a smoke ring into the air. Find out who he is. Alex nodded. You should probably spend more time with Maya. If she's really serious about this divorce, you're going to be sorry. Julian sneered. She's just been charmed by some pretty boy. She'll cool down in a couple of days and forget all about it. In the villa, I was lying in bed. So, how do you think we should tell your brother that I'm pregnant with his nephew? Daniel's gaze was fixed on me, his dark eyes serious. Did Julian agree to the divorce? I shook my head. He thinks I'm just throwing a tantrum. I told him my assistant would pick up the papers tomorrow. If he doesn't sign, I'll release all the videos and pictures of his affairs and file for a divorce. Daniel chuckled. Good. My relationship with Daniel had been an accident. That day, I had found out that Julian was openly pursuing a new woman. I was heartbroken and had called my best friend to go drinking with me, but I had accidentally dialed Daniel's number. By the time he arrived, I had already finished a dozen bottles of red wine, fueled by alcohol. I had taken advantage of him. When I woke up, I sat on the edge of the bed, meekly waiting for him to unleash his fury. He had a reputation for being asexual, and the rumor in our circle was that he was secretly in love with a man. "When are you planning on divorcing my brother?" I thought I had misheard him. "What?" Daniel slowly buttoned his shirt. "I know what my brother is like. He's a womanizer, and he'll never change. If you marry me, it won't affect the alliance between our families, and I won't cheat on you." I was speechless, still in a daze. Daniel glanced at me. "Is 3 months enough time to sort out the assets?" In that moment, I realized he was serious. "Why? If you want to get married, there are plenty of heiresses who would line up to marry you." Daniel paused, then chuckled. "Maybe I just don't want you to get away with taking advantage of me." At the office, my assistant, Kate, returned from the Thorne group. "Miss Maya, I just went to Mr. Thorne's office to get the divorce papers. As you instructed, he said he had thrown them away last night. I gave him the extra copy you had me prepare, but he didn't even look at it, just tore it up. He was furious, smashed a bunch of things in his office, and said a divorce was impossible." I rubbed my temples. "I see. You can go back to your work now. Miss Maya, there's one more thing. Someone is investigating your relationship with the other Mr. Thorne." I looked up and tapped my fingers on the desk. "If he wants to investigate, let him. Don't do anything." Just then, Julian stormed in, pushing the door open without knocking. Kate covered her mouth, wondering if he had heard her. I frowned. Julian hadn't been to my company in 2 years. What was he doing here? I looked at my assistant. "You can go now." Kate discreetly closed the door. Julian leaned back on the sofa, a cigarette between his fingers. I walked over to him, took the cigarette from his lips, and stubbed it out. "If you're going to smoke, get out." Julian looked at me for a few seconds, then laughed, exasperated. "You've really been brainwashed by that pretty boy." I sat across from him. "If you're not happy with the asset division, we can negotiate. 60-40. And the properties and jewelry you've bought for your girlfriends are worth a few $100 million. I'm not even going to fight you on that. I just want a quick divorce." Julian's narrow eyes narrowed, his gaze dark. "A quick divorce? Do you have any idea how many of our company's projects are intertwined? You want a boyfriend? Fine. But a divorce? Don't even think about it." Just then, his phone rang. It was Alex. "Julian, I found out who Maya's boyfriend is." "Guess who?" Julian gave me a meaningful look. "No need to tell me. Maya and I have already talked it over. We'll each do our own thing. She's just having a fling. It won't last. No, it's your own brother." Julian hung up before he could hear the rest. He played with his phone, his tone teasing. "I don't care who your man is, but don't cause any trouble for Ruby's career. When we need to put on a show for our parents, you call me. I won't let you lose face. But there are 2 rules. 1. No talk of divorce. 2. No getting pregnant." I was speechless. Seeing my silence, Julian assumed we had an agreement. A smile touched his thin lips as he stood up and walked out. He ran right into a well-dressed Daniel, who was holding a thermos. His temple throbbed, and his brow furrowed. "Brother, what are you doing here?" Daniel walked past him into the office and started laying out the food. He glanced at his brother, his voice cool and detached. "I'm here to bring your sister in. La lunch." A thunderclap exploded in Julian's mind. He looked back and forth between me and his brother. His expression turned exceptionally ugly. He kicked the table in front of him, and the pork rib soup spilled out. "Daniel, don't you know she's my wife?" The veins on his forehead bulged. He threw a wild, powerful punch at his brother. "You son of a bitch. You could have had anyone, but you had to be with Maya." Daniel took off his suit jacket and, without hesitation, threw a punch back. The 2 of them started fighting. Julian's lip was split, and the collar of his expensive shirt was torn. He had completely lost his usual lazy elegance. The office was a mess, with files scattered everywhere. Julian's eyes were fierce. He picked up his jacket from the floor and kicked the door open as he left. My father's call came while I was tending to Daniel's wounds. "Look at the shameful mess you've made. Get home right now." Daniel heard every word. "I'll go with you." I put the first Aide Kid away and said, "No need. I can handle him." At my family's villa, I found Julian on the sofa, a cigarette between his fingers, his legs spread wide, his expression unreadable. My father was sitting bolt upright, his face a mask of rage. "Apologize to him right now, and then break up with that man." I sat down and looked at Julian, a cold, sarcastic smile on my face. "Since you've already told them I cheated, why not tell them the whole story?" I then turned to my parents. "Mom, Dad, the man I cheated with is Julian's own brother, Daniel." The living room fell silent. Julian's face darkened. His eyes filled with a growing rage. "Maya, you'd better explain yourself. What's going on with you and Daniel?" Just then, his mother's angry voice came from outside. Julian frowned and stood up. "Mom, what are you doing here?" I sneered. "Since you came to see my parents, it's only right that your parents are here too, isn't it?" Julian grabbed my wrist, his grip tight, a furious glint in his eyes. His mother was a formidable woman. When I agreed to let Maya into our family, it was because I thought she was a smart, sensible girl. Now that she's done such a shameless thing, what do you think we should do? My father slapped me across the face. "You ungrateful wretch. Have you forgotten how you embarrassed our family and cost us tens of millions when you made a scene at his office? Apologize to his mother right now." Julian's mother was very satisfied with the slap. She feigned a magnanimous tone. "Maya, dear, it's not that I'm siding with my own son. It's perfectly normal for a man to have a few girls on the side when he's out socializing. For you to make such a big scene was just wrong. And now you've even seduced Daniel. If this gets out, both our families will be a laughingstock." A wave of bitterness washed over me. I burst out. "Normal? Is that what you've been telling yourself all these years? You may have that kind of tolerance, but I don't." Julian's expression was dark as he sneered. "What? You have Daniel to back you up now, so you can even talk back to my mother." "Miss Maya, I've brought the things you asked for." My assistant, Kate, walked in and placed the contents of her bag on the coffee table. "If there's nothing else, I'll be heading back to the office." I nodded. "Okay." I took a stack of photos from a manila envelope and threw them in their faces. "Dad, that stack is of Julian and his secretary making out in a parking garage." "Mom, that's a video of him and a model in a hotel room. The one I caught them in." "Julian, those are the receipts for the apartment and jewelry you bought for that college student." "And you, old hag, those are the bank statements for the villa he bought for that starlet. In 3 years of marriage, he cheated on me so many times and humiliated me. I only cheated once. I'd say I'm the one who got the short end of the stick." Julian lowered his eyes and rubbed his temples. He finally calmed down and said, "I was wrong before. I didn't consider your feelings. I'll break up with the women on the side. You break up with Daniel. Can we start over?" I looked down at my still, flat stomach. "We can't. I'm pregnant." A storm of rage gathered in Julian's dark eyes. "Maya, say that again." I took a new set of divorce papers from my bag. "Julian, sign these, and you can go and pursue your new love openly." He didn't even look at them, just tore them to shreds and let the pieces flutter to the ground. "You want a divorce? In your dreams." His mother fainted. He took her to the hospital. After everyone had left, the living room was quiet again. The servants moved about cautiously, afraid of making a sound. "Maya, tell me the truth. Are you really with Daniel? Are you really pregnant with his child? Has he said he's going to marry you?" Hearing his underlying meaning, I sneered. "Dad, since you've already handed the company over to me, you and Mom should just enjoy your retirement. Don't worry about the company's affairs anymore." My father's face darkened. "What do you mean by that? Are you trying to sideline me? I built this company from the ground up. If you think you can take over, you'll have to get past your uncles." I played a recording. After listening to it, his face changed drastically. I calmly put my phone away. A new era. A new leader. "Dad, you should retire. From now on, whether it's my marriage or the company's business, I don't want to see you interfere." Not long after, Julian paid Ruby's contract termination fee and released her from Star Entertainment. He even started a media company just for her. All the top-tier ad campaigns and major drama productions were thrown her way. With her newfound fame, Ruby became arrogant. She encouraged her fans to flood my company's official social media accounts with comments. So speechless, A company president cheats and gets pregnant with another man's child, cuckolding her husband. And she still won't get a divorce. So shameless. Please, just let him go. If you don't appreciate him, someone else will. Get a divorce and let Ruby have her happy ending. Yeah, he doesn't have any feelings for you anymore. I heard the yacht he gave her was just something Ruby didn't want. Haha, old hag. Get a divorce and make way for our Ruby to become the mistress of the Thorn Group. Kate was furious. These people are just talking nonsense. Julian was the one who cheated first. How dare they attack you? I scrolled through the tablet, tapped the desk, and said coldly, have the legal team gather all the evidence of these defamatory comments, and have the PR team dig up all the dirt on Ruby, from her being a sugar baby in college to her abusing staff on set, and release it all. Yes, Miss Maya. I'll get right on it. The PR team was very efficient. In less than half an hour, the tide had turned. Ruby's comments section was flooded with so many negative comments it crashed. Oh my, you're a mistress. And you have the audacity to have your fans attack the wife. The reason Julian and Maya's relationship fell apart. You had a hand in that, didn't you? You were with him before you even graduated from college, living in the villa he bought for you, driving his car. You couldn't even hide the hickeys on your neck when you came back to the dorm. I was her roommate. She used to say all the time that she would one day convince him to divorce his wife and marry her, so she could become a real socialite. This Ruby is not a good person. I was her assistant for 3 days. She has a serious princess complex. She made me kneel to put on her shoes, and I had to be on call 24/7. She would often call me at 2 or 3 in the morning to get her takeout, and not from one place, but from opposite ends of the city. If it was cold when I got back, she would throw the food in my face and call me useless. In a private club, the phone Julian had tossed aside rang over and over again. He had no intention of answering it. Alex, unable to watch any longer, threw the phone at him. She's called a dozen times. If you don't like her, just dump her. Julian didn't speak, just kept drinking. A bold guess formed in Alex's mind. You paid her contract termination fee, started a media company just for her. It's not because you like her, is it? Is it to make Maya jealous? To get her to come back to you? Julian's silence was a confirmation. Alex sighed and clapped him on the shoulder. I told you not to play games. That you would regret it if things went too far. You didn't listen. And now look, that starlet has even gone to her company. And Maya hasn't even come to see you. Listen to me, man. She really doesn't love you anymore. Just sign the divorce papers. Julian's face darkened, and he slammed his glass on the ground. A furious glint flashed in his eyes. I'm never getting a divorce. He grabbed his jacket and car keys and stormed out. Alex chased after him. Where are you going? You've been drinking. Don't drive. The only reply was the sound of a slamming door. I was still at the office, dealing with a project. The door to my office was violently thrown open. Julian, reeking of alcohol, walked in and stood before my desk. Why? Before, whenever I was with another woman, you would immediately come and cry and make a scene and force me to come home. This time, I've even paid so much to get Ruby out of her contract. Why didn't you come and yell at me? Because before, I loved you. I couldn't stand you being with other women. Julian was stunned, his eyes instantly turning red. Can't you just love me one more time? I promise I'll break up with all of them. I'll never let them appear in front of you again. Julian, can you just sign the divorce papers? He stood in the shadows, his eyes full of hurt. Maya, I don't want to sign. Julian, you knew I was at the office because of our location sharing app, right? I opened my phone and, in front of him, deactivated our 15-year-long relationship status. Julian's whole body went cold, his hands and feet numb. They had downloaded that app the day they had started dating. They could see each other's location at any time. They had promised to never deactivate it. Liar. He strode over and pulled me into a fierce embrace, his kisses raining down on me. I struggled, but he held me tighter. Maya, I really know I was wrong. Let's start over. I reached for the vase on the shelf. With a crash, it smashed against his head. He closed his eyes for a moment, and blood trickled from his hairline, his hoarse voice trembling. Maya, you hit me. This is the first time you've ever hit me. Julian lowered his head. I was about to call for an ambulance. but he turned and walked out. I rubbed my temples and sank back into my chair, exhausted. The next morning, his mother stormed into my house. "Did you hit my son? How could you be so cruel? You're trying to kill him to get a divorce. He came to my office and assaulted me, so I hit him with a vase. If you think I intentionally harmed him, you can call the police." His mother, seeing my firm stance, said, "You're not even divorced yet. What's wrong with him touching you a little? It's just a part of being a married couple. How can you call it assault? When I have clearly stated that I am unwilling, even if we are married, it is still sexual assault." His mother's face changed. You, I don't care. You will go to the hospital right now and take care of him until he is discharged." "Impossible. Move." His mother blocked my way. Daniel, seeing this, strode over and pushed her arm away. "Mother, please show my fiancé some respect." His mother looked as if her world had just collapsed. "What is wrong with you? You could have had any woman, but you had to fall for your sister. In-law, your brother is in the hospital, refusing to eat or drink, demanding to see her. Are you trying to starve him to death?" Daniel's voice was cold. "He'll eat when he's hungry. If there's nothing else, you should go. From now on, if you need something, you can call me. Don't bother Maya." His mother took a deep, angry breath, glared at me, and left. At the hospital, no matter what anyone said, Julian refused to eat. He wouldn't even speak, just stared out the window. Alex was at a loss. "Your mother went to see Maya. She's not coming. You're just wasting your time by not eating. She doesn't love you anymore. Starving yourself is not going to work." Julian finally reacted. He looked at Alex. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "She's blocked me. She won't answer my calls. You call her. If she won't come, tell her that if she wants a divorce, she has to come and see me." Alex sighed. When he called, I was at the hospital with Daniel for a prenatal check. "Up." I glanced at my phone and answered. "Alex, what's up?" Alex looked back at the man on the bed. "Maya, Julian is seriously injured, and he's not eating. The doctor said if this goes on, it's not good. Can you come see him?" Without a second thought, I said, "No." Alex closed his eyes. He knew this would be the answer. He had been hoping for a chance to salvage the situation, but now it seemed impossible. "You want a divorce, right?" He said. "If you come see him, he'll sign the papers." "Fine. Send me the room number. After my check. Up. Daniel and I will come over." "Maybe Daniel shouldn't come. You'll just be provoking him." I didn't speak, just hung up. Then I immediately called Kate. "Go to my office, get a copy of the divorce papers from my drawer, and bring them to the hospital." Julian was much thinner. The once immaculate man hadn't even shaved. He looked at Daniel. "Can you leave? I want to talk to Maya alone." Daniel didn't want to leave. "Wait for me outside. As soon as he signs, I'll be out." Daniel reluctantly left. Before he went, he warned him not to try anything. I placed the divorce papers on the table. "I've revised the terms. All marital assets will be split 60-40. If you see no problem, you can sign." Julian laughed at himself. "So now, besides a divorce, you have nothing else to say to me? Is there anything else to say? Is he good to you?" "He's very good to me. Just like you were when we first started dating." With eyes only for me. Julian closed his eyes in pain. "That's good." He opened a drawer and took out another set of divorce papers. "I made you a laughingstock in our circle for 3 years. I'm sorry. All marital assets will go to you. I'll leave with nothing. You deserve it. And the partnership with your family's company will continue. It won't be affected by our divorce." I opened the papers and read through them. The action, in his eyes, was like a knife twisting in his heart. "Before, whenever I gave you a contract, you would always sign it without even looking. After confirming there were no problems, I signed my name neatly. You said it yourself. That was before." As I was walking out the door, I heard his voice. "Be happy." After getting the divorce papers, Daniel and I started to plan our wedding. The news caused quite a stir in our social circle. "This is hilarious. What was the Thorne family thinking? Letting one woman marry 2 brothers? I heard Maya is pregnant. Is the baby Julian's? Or Daniel's? It must be Daniel's. Otherwise, why would Julian get a divorce? He was cuckolded by his own brother. No matter where she went, his mother would hear these whispers. She was so angry she had no outlet. So she came to me. You will break up with this woman immediately. Otherwise, don't you ever call me mother again. Daniel's voice was cold. Maya and I have decided to get married on the 8th of next month. If you want to come, you're welcome. If not, I won't force you. No one can stop me from marrying her. Fine. Then from now on, I have no son. The news that Daniel had broken ties with his family quickly spread. He had started his own company years ago, so it didn't affect him much. But the Thorn Group was now in a mess. Ever since the divorce, Julian had been holed up in a bar, and now his other son had disowned him. Forced to. His father had to come out of retirement to take charge. On my way to work, Ruby suddenly ran in front of my car, blocking my way. Where did you hide him? I got out of the car, my heart still pounding from the near accident. He's a grown man. How could I hide him? If you want to find him, why don't you just call him? It's all your fault. I could have married him and become Mrs. Thorn. You ruined everything. You know very well that he was just playing with you. He would never have married you. But Ruby was still deluding herself. He's different with me than with other women. He named his beloved yacht after me, so he could think of me whenever he was on it. I sneered. Before you, there was a dancer. He really liked her. She said she wanted to wear matching diamond rings, and he bought a pair without a second thought. But then she got greedy and tried to get pregnant to secure her position. The moment he found out, he cut her off completely. Ruby cried her eyes out, about to say more. Suddenly, she looked at me with terror. I followed her gaze. A group of burly, tattooed men were walking towards us. Ruby, as if grabbing a lifeline, clutched my sleeve. Please, can you call him for me? I promise I'll leave the capital and never bother him again. Please, tell him to stop going after me. Before I could figure out what was going on, Ruby, seeing the men getting closer, ran away in fear. The men walked up to me, their eyes not even meeting mine. Hey, you, what's your relationship with that girl? She owes us money. You don't look like you're short on cash. How about you pay her debt for her? I frowned. Get lost. I waved for security. The men quickly ran off. Bro, I know that woman. She's the president of the Jiang Group. She's more ruthless than any man. You'd better pray she's not a vengeful person, or our little own company is going to become the Jiang Group's legal department's next KPI. Back at the company, Kate was giving me a project update. These documents need your signature. Security called. That woman who blocked your car is here again. She's downstairs, crying and demanding to see you. Do you want to see her? I signed the documents. No. Tell security to kick her out if they see her again. If she causes a scene, call the police. Yes, Miss Maya. I heard that after you stepped in. Thorn Media stopped supporting her and just let her fend for herself. And a lot of dirt on her was exposed. Besides what our PR team found, other celebrities have also come forward. Now she's a pariah in the entertainment industry. The products she endorsed are now being boycotted. One skincare brand's sales have plummeted. They've already sued her for damages. She couldn't pay, so she took out a high-interest loan and told them Julian would pay it back. But when the time came, he didn't. Now the loan sharks are after her. And Julian doesn't care about her anymore. He's taken back everything he ever gave her. Kate, from now on, you don't need to report anything about Julian or Ruby to me. Yes, Miss Maya. The wedding day, on the 8th of September, was a beautiful, sunny day. The entire Thorn family was there, including Julian. His mother had a happy smile on her face, greeting the guests, showing no sign of her previous disapproval. Julian handed me a purchase contract. This is a new yacht, named after you. It's my wedding gift to you. Daniel wrapped his arms around my waist from behind. I'll accept the gift. When you get married, your sister-in-law and I will be sure to give you a generous gift in return. Julian's face stiffened. He knew this was his own doing. The ceremony began. My father personally gave me away to Daniel. This is my only precious daughter. I hope you will love her, protect her, and take care of her for the rest of her life. Don't worry, Dad, I will. In the guest section, Julian's eyes were red. Alex glanced at him. Do you really have to do this to yourself? Watching the person you love marry someone else. It's not a good feeling. Why don't we just leave? Julian shook his head. No. What if Maya changes her mind? I have to be here to take her away. Alex didn't know what to say to him. Daniel loved Maya so much. Anyone could see that there would be no unexpected twists in this wedding. The wedding ended. Julian closed his eyes in resignation. Back in our new home, Daniel helped me out of my wedding dress. We decided to go to Florence for our honeymoon. We left the next day. It was a long flight, over 10 hours. I fell asleep as soon as I got on the plane. Florence was like a painting, steeped in time. We climbed the stone steps of the Fiesole Hills and reached the Piazzale Michelangelo just before sunset. Hand in hand, Daniel and I listened to the church bells and strolled through the streets.